Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for March 12th through 15th, 2021. How are you doing? Well, today, tonight, tomorrow, we are having this Pisces new moon. And this is a fresh start. New moons are always the start of a new cycle. But this particular new moon, coming just exactly a week before the March Equinox, which is the Aries point in the zodiac, the rebirth of the zodiac, it's telling us something, very powerful planetary initiation. So we are now having all of this Pisces energy. We've got the sun in Pisces, Venus in Pisces, and they are coming closer and closer together. So this is this initiation energy. Today, we're starting to feel, in the next couple of days, we'll be starting to feel the sun and Venus coming closer together. Today, the sun is exactly conjunct Neptune, and then Venus will conjunct Neptune this weekend. So really powerful messages here with the sun and Venus coming together and going over this Aries point for the equinox. And here we are, we've got Mercury about to come out of retrograde shadow in Aquarius, a whole bunch of Aquarius energy that we're trying to just get a grip and sort through. Now all this Pisces energy. And indeed, it's bringing up all of where we are clinging to the past and what's required for us to move forward. And February was rough because we had all of those Black Moon Lilith squares. And now that Mercury's coming out of shadow, it's like revealing and saying, okay, this is what's got to go. This is what you got to move into. And the Pisces energy can be so beautiful in dreaming, visioning, connecting, the spiritual revelation feelings. And so this particular Pisces season, on the heels of this Aquarian explosion with that greater conjunction moving over into Aquarius, is like everything is about how do we move out of the Piscean age and into the Aquarian age. But we can't do that without the magic. This energy right now is asking you, the initiation is about the feminine and coming back into balance and wholeness. There's a lot of energy of like soul retrieval type energy of picking up these pieces of yourself that have been left and other time dimensional frequencies from past life traumas and your childhood, of course, energies, your family, stuff that you've been working through your lifetimes. We're looking at lifetimes of patterns that it's absolutely time to just drop. And this is kind of the Pisces energy. It's like, surrender, give up, like dissolve all that's false. Doesn't mean you have to let go of what's working or, it's just about letting go of everywhere that you have allowed and bought into, where you've been cast aside. This is the feminine in all of us. The feminine in all of us that is been punished, persecuted, rejected, left behind, just discarded. And it's like, come on back home, because we cannot go into this new age unless we can be whole and complete. And what the stars and planets have been showing us is that it has so much to do with the shame, low self-worth, shadow side of the feminine. We all have feminine, masculine within, right? And the energy of this astrology, of the sun and Venus coming together and going over the equinox together, so powerful. It's like the phoenix rising from the ashes. So that phoenix has already burned away all the stories. That's what we did last month, and we've been working on for years. The astrology has been hammering this home. Like, we got to get back into balance with the feminine and masculine. Be in wholeness, in order to move into this new energy. And it's right here on the table. And we're being offered an initiatory experience where we can come back into wholeness. Now, this is our true self, right? Our true self is the spiritual self. And everything in this reality of the garbage movie reality has been about disconnecting us from our true self, our spiritual self, and through divide and conquer tactics. So that's like people against people, but it's also us against ourselves, right? So that Black Moon Lilith explosion was about like looking at everywhere you've been battling yourself and where you've been treating yourself in the way that your false self, these personality constructs, your insecurities and all these stories, and you're not good enough and you don't deserve and all that crap. And it just had to get all stirred up. And now this Pisces energy is like, can you step into this, back into the dream? And when we're in parts and pieces and fractured and traumatized, then it's a nightmare. So, so powerful, this Pisces new moon, to set that intention to be whole and complete, to receive this initiation and to step over into that true self. And so what we're feeling right now is this weekend, a huge shift, because right now, we got it's 24 hours away about from when I'm doing the live video here, this Pisces new moon. And then we've got Mercury coming out of retrograde shadow. This is the first kind of like, whew, okay, now what are we going to do next? And then with this initiatory experience of the Sun and Venus coming together, it's a new next. And it's really time to put our energy in forward, right? Instead of getting looped back in the past. And it's almost like we have to use the medicine. The Pisces energy is a lot of what got us trapped in the past, from the Piscean age, traumatic past lives in the Piscean age, where the light healers were persecuted. But now we need to reclaim that Pisces energy in order to give ourselves permission to dream the new dream, and see how it all fits together. So we got to like pick up that feminine, dust her off, clean her up, and put her back on her rightful throne. Because the feminine, when we all have feminine and masculine, this is the thing about reading past lives. We've all been in male and female bodies. So this whole division of the sexes thing is just a joke. And we've got to take that feminine in all of us and put her back on her throne, because that is life itself. We've had matriarchal cultures on this planet. We've had lots of patriarchal cultures. The matriarchal cultures worshipped the feminine because life came from that. This is like the feminine body, the female body just has more direct access to life force energy. Oh, isn't that interesting? This is one of the deep mysteries in this whole play that's happening right now, this whole turnaround. Because right after the Sun and Venus go over the Aries point together, that Phoenix rising, that new birth, that goddess back on her throne, right? Then they come into a conjunction with Chiron in Aries. And Chiron is our deepest wounds. In Aries, the wounds are about where you haven't been able to be who you really are. And this is this disenfranchised feminine in all of us. We've had to deny and pretend and go along with the program. And the Aries is all about being who you really are, your true self, which is your spiritual self, your I am, right? But it's also like these attributes, these gifts and skills that you've been working on and developing over many lifetimes and whole evolutions, and finally valuing those again. Because we've all been, supernova souls are like, well, someday maybe I'll find the avenue, to bring forward my gifts, and it'll be appreciated and received. And it's like, how can that ever happen if you can't receive them? And that's what this astrology has all been about. And it's been dark and scary and painful, but now is time where we come back into the light. But that Chiron conjunction, so Venus and the Sun, like I said, we just are starting to feel it this weekend. But it goes for almost 3 weeks. these are Venus and the sun staying close. Now, this is Venus catching back up to the sun after that retrograde last year, which started this whole nightmare delusion. What in the hell is going on in this 2020 reality, right? I thought there was like 2020 clear vision, right? Clear delusions, maybe, before you can get to the clear vision. And so as the sun and Venus go over the Aries point in the Phoenix rising from the ashes, and then a Chiron conjunction, and Chiron is these wounds of like where you haven't been able to be who you really are. We all had to turn down our light, disconnect from our spiritual self in order to survive on this planet. And now we can't survive without it. And it's time to get back to the garden, which means that exalted, purified, cleansed feminine in all of us back in her rightful throne. And it's not that she's above the masculine. These are equal forces, just two parts of the same whole, needed to be in balance. You know, that divine masculine stepping up to the plate and saying, yeah, come on, let's get this garden flourishing, right? This is us honoring all parts of ourselves, and that the soul retrieval energy is huge for this Pisces new moon and maybe the equinox soul group session too. I'm just feeling this energy of like this astrology, especially this Aries, moving into the Aries and then the Chiron, and it's like pulling back all of the parts of yourself that are stuck in these other time dimensional frequencies. This is what happens with our soul. See, trauma programs things we've experienced in past lives are deliberately designed to keep us fractured, separate, and disconnected from who we really are because we're stuck in the old story. See, when in each incarnation, you get a new personality, a new role, a new way to express, right? And this is where we come with this, we're on the heels of the sun and Venus both squaring up with the nodes of the moon. And what that's brought up is a lot of the South Node Sagittarius stuff, which is like where you feel like you failed. It's like, yeah, because you were traumatized, and that makes you feel like there's something unresolved that wasn't completed. And this is where we've been trapped in time, because everything kicks us back to the old story, right? And so this is where we can step back and be like, whoa, this last intense astrology, this last year, it's that excavating thing. And thank God, because I got to find this shit. It's not pretty, but we can't take it with us, and we got to make the leap. Supernova souls, you're here to lead the way, and you've been hiding from your power in your light. So not only do you need to be like, oh, wait, I have some power, and like, oh, and that part of myself was cast aside and demonized, and oh, I got to heal that, integrate it, and hit the ground running in this full expression of who you are, who you really are, God's gifts within you, that this world said was unnecessary, kind of silly, a little bit crazy, unimportant, or downright evil, wrong, and bad, right? I was like, no, that's the light of God. This is creator energy. And this astrology is like, whoa, this Phoenix, because it's really the feminine in all of us, no matter what avenue of your life or whatever. It's like those fractured pieces of you. This is just how it's been, right? The feminine just is, that's the part of ourselves that feels low self-worth, and Venus rules this. Venus is like what we love, what we want, what makes us feel good, but it's also our value system. So this is a rebirth of our value systems, which is exactly what all this Taurus energy has been about too. And it's like, guess where all the goods are? Guess who has all the wealth that really matters when it gets down to it? That's you guys. And so we're coming back to this thing, like, how can the world receive you and your gifts if you can't receive you and your gifts? For waiting around, I know it's hard because we have been traumatized and we're waiting around for feel safe enough. This Venus sun is not safe. It's stepping into the fires of life and saying, I'm ready to live again. I'm ready to open, because when you receive your gifts, you're also receiving in your light and your spiritual energy. That's that Aries energy, that Chiron and Aries, wounds over where we've disconnected from our life force, the power that creates all. The whole point of this paradigm, the whole point of the lower matrix trap, is to use our power to create the matrix. Game over. And so this Phoenix is not scared. It's going to step through the fires of initiation and come through the other side in a more purified form. And that's exactly what the goddess is doing right now, the feminine in all of us. And that's requiring us to be brave and claim. You know, what's happening, we've talked about the divergent realities and timelines and whatever's happening. We got the heaven and the hell, you know, and you can't do both. You got to do one or the other, right? And that heaven timeline is, you know, another way to describe it would be actually living, right? There's lots of souls on the planet that are content to partially live and mostly be on the way to death. That's not who we are as spiritual beings. We have direct connection to God consciousness right here, you know? And are you going to claim it? So there's a lot that comes up with the Aries, this transition too, coming with the equinox of claiming our own autonomy, claiming our own sovereignty, and our permission to live our life our way and have our planet our way, which is like healthy, whole, complete. And it comes right back to that, you know, integrating these broken pieces of ourselves. And, you know, for a while as a spirit, we could get a lot done and still have all these broken pieces. And this line in the sand is saying, you can't do it. You can't do what you're here to do. You can't live. You can't take back your life force. You can't be an actual participant in this revolution while you're nursing those broken pieces. Get the F out of that old story. Now take the leap. So I'm so glad we're here together, taking the leap. Now Mercury, so this is a big shift with the Pisces new moon and Mercury coming out of retrograde shadow. This is the first forward motion, new energy we're having this year. And how, wow, with a bang. And so this week is like preparing for this initiation energy, and it's building and building and building. Now Mercury comes out of Aquarius early next week on the 15th, the Ides of March. Mercury will move into Pisces, and then Mercury will have its turn interacting square with the nodes and conjunct Neptune. And that energy is really good because it's like Mercury is our mind, our mental, trying to make sense of things. And so we're really sorting out the rubble of the Piscean age, and that's part of it too. We want to just close the door on those old stories and burn the book, right? But there's the gift of the Piscean age. And this is the focus now. To move forward, we've got to have the gift of it's kind of in alignment with you as the gift. Are you ready to receive it? You know, because Pisces represents this oneness consciousness where we come together in a field, right? And then that oneness consciousness in the Piscean age was used to control us through fear and trauma, through structured religion, right? And so we've got to claim back this. And this is this Sun and Venus, so beautiful, coming together, kissing in Pisces, in the dream, you know, releasing the beauty of this world. And because this, you know, we're going back to that greater conjunction that happened in December on the solstice. And that was when Jupiter and Saturn came together, moved over into Aquarius. Very powerful message for us and huge activating energies that we didn't even know what to do with, right? We're going to have to sort this stuff out. But when the greatest conjunction is when those planets come together over the Aries point. from where those planets, because they always come together in certain signs in one element, right? So when it switches elements, it's a big deal. That's greater conjunction. And the greatest conjunction is when it switches from Pisces to Aries, water to fire, from the fishes to the ram. That's exactly where the greatest conjunction happened at the time of the birth of Jesus. So what is this telling us? We just had this greater conjunction we're talking about moving in, expanding into the age of Aquarius, changing our reality, coming back on the divine timeline. And here we have the Sun and Venus, 3 weeks as they go over the Aries point and conjunct Chiron, taking back our life force, no more phoenix in the flame, and stepping into this righteous truth of the exalted feminine, a world based on love, care, and nurturing, so that the gifts of life can flourish. And that starts right here in your heart as you claim that moment by moment. We've been talking about this, right? Because we're seeing more and more, we're in a crazy psychological trap, So if you're in a psychological trap, the way out of the trap is to feel better. Your vibration, tend to your vibration in the best way you can, go, sort out the old movie, but receive this initiation back into the fire of life, where life is about living, truly living, passion, fire, and life force. So the Sun and Venus coming back together after this whole year, and the Sun shines light, and that initiation of this divine feminine right over that point where, representing the birth of Christ consciousness. And so we're looking at the Christed feminine. We have a picture of the Christed masculine. And it's interesting because the picture I get as I say that is that, the stories make it like, well, Jesus, he's this guy, he was like super, had it together, came here and showed us some stuff, right? But it wasn't him. It was a whole group of souls working, and you're part of this team, right? If you're listening to this, for hundreds of years, thousands of years, to prepare for that energy to come, to support that energy, a whole team of people, of souls. And that's what allowed this. And we're still working on this project. We've been working on it, and here's the next stage. And this astrology is saying, here you go, here's the next chapter. Because we can't have Christ consciousness on the planet until we have the Christed feminine as well. And so this is a mystery. What does this mean? And it's like, well, why don't you just take all of the darkest aspects of the feminine, and there's plenty of them, separate it all out into her archetypes, clean her up, heal her, dust off the wounds, get her a new, get her a bath, and put her back in her rightful place. And that is how we receive this Christ consciousness back into our hearts. The second coming, that's you guys coming into balance with your feminine. So powerful. And like I said, we've been such in a muck. This energy is so different, but we're in the dream. We want to take advantage. It's like, because we've got Venus and the Sun together for a week before they even go this next week, close before they go over the Aries point. And then we got a week after with Chiron and claiming back that life force. It's interesting how it all relates back to free energy, because there's a feminine kind of electricity, that Nikola Tesla studied in depth, or brought forward and then was buried, right? And the feminine form of electricity is everywhere in the air all the time. Like, we literally could plug into our own bodies. And this is a big part of what's been holding our evolution back, right? You got to pay to play. You can't just have that. We got to run it through wires and charge you for that electricity, and you have to have power to do anything in this world. And this astrology is like, oh, we've got that power right here. And demand and command that life force return and free energy comes into our life as a concept. Receiving this free energy, which is our own life force in our own body. And but that free energy is a feminine form of electricity. It's what we were working with in Atlantean time, so that's all coming back around, because Atlantean time is associated with Aquarius and technology. And so here we have this claiming back humanity, like enough of us stepping up and claiming back our autonomy, our life force, our sovereignty, and that free energy. And how did we get to the point to think that it wasn't ours to have, or something too dangerous for us? It all goes back to those Atlantean stories of catastrophe, to fear this power. But the free energy is perpetual motion, right? You get it going and it just keeps creating. This is our planet. This is the feminine. That's that rebirth, regeneration. It's a miracle. Life is a miracle. And we all know, if we were actually, with the technology available, taking care of our planet, and we could produce plenty for everyone, abundance. Gaia is so abundant. But there's just been a long-term agenda to keep us from this abundance. And maybe this is our phoenix stepping through the flames to be reborn into our abundance, which would totally fit that whole Black Moon Lilith Taurus, thing that we've gone through here. Now we've had a shift in energy there, because Mars, our masculine planet, has moved over into the sign of Gemini. Now, Mars will come into, around the time of the equinox, will come into a conjunction with the North Node. North Node is, how are we going to get to go? And Mars is like, let's freaking go. So it's forward motion. Are you ready for that? Everything is saying, come on, time to get out of the past. Time to step over the threshold, burn it all away, drop those stories, drop all you thought you were going to be and do for everyone and everything, and just be and do life. And then the expression of that will come, and it will be received. It's just a natural law of the universe. When you're using your full potential, your gifts and skills, abundance comes, physical abundance, support comes. That's just how it works. So the garden has a different set of laws and rules, right? And that's the shift we're in, stepping back into that and claiming it and receiving it and celebrating it and loving it, and a very different energy ahead. So we've still got Saturn square Uranus, which we'll feel through July, but they're coming out early next week, mid next week. They will be coming out of the 1 degree apart, and they won't go that close again. So this is this gridlock of the old way and the new way, and what needs to change for us to build this new world in this new energy. And so that's this ground shifting under our feet. And, we have yet to see, the world's just going along like everything's the same, our physical manifested reality, the scary movie. It's just like, oh, lolly, 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 la, and it's like, ooh, when does that hit the wall? And have to resolve, and this is where we're coming out. We still have this Pisces, energy of magic and dreaming this new world, but also there's those delusions and what's real. And as long as you're in this fake delusional nightmare, then you can never see the dream. And that's what's getting resolved as we have this powerful month of Pisces energy on the heels of those Aquarius explosion, right? We're sorting it out, trying to get what we want from the Pisces energy and use it to get out of that old nightmare. And so when that's another reason why this this equinox is so potent because it's like we'll be coming out of the hashing out, sorting out, kind of, because Mercury will be in Pisces still. And so we're just kind of sorting it out. And then really, so we can move into that rebirth energy. So hang in there. We're going back and forth between those excruciating old stories and the dream of what's possible in your abundance that you didn't even know you had. And so just know we're like, I'm seeing this almost like a Jenga picture of the game Jenga. And this is like our body, our chakra system, our physical body, and our different levels of consciousness as we go through these changes are all like, all, it's like, maybe that's that question. How do you build in this new energy, in this plasma? And it's a multiple dimensional, time is strange. It's, we're just completely dismantling and rebuilding in a better way. And the dismantling part, that dissolving part, it feels really scary at first, right? And that's this week. It's that surrender to the complete reworking of who you really are according to Creator and God's will, thy will, and putting down all the stories of that South Node Sag, of the past, what's holding you in the past, and the Mars North Node Gemini. And that represents our voice, our communication, speaking our truth, and standing up and saying, hey, it's our world now. Humanity, you better get with the program. It's your last chance to make this leap. But you've already decided and you're doing it. And I'm just so glad we're here together, making this leap into the new. So I hope you'll consider joining today. 4 p.m. Mountain Time is the Pisces new moon activation. That's $10. And if you can't make it at that live time, know that energy is encoded. Your intention to join, you sign up, that energy is there for you whenever you can catch the replay. The replay is available at the same link as sign up right after the event. So you don't have to worry about missing it if you can't be there right on time or can't make it in your time zone. So, we're going to be exploring all these concepts, that soul retrieval, this healing of the past, breaking those contracts and putting ourselves back together into that wholeness. And then next Friday, the Equinox Soul Group session. So watch out for that. And I'll have more information coming out about that. That'll be on the 19th. And that'll be a powerful energy together. The Soul Group sessions, Supernova Soul Group sessions, we go deeper into shared past life. It's a group intuitive session. So shared past life energy, soul group work, that soul retrieval, timeline alignment, can all come up. So really fun because it's based on the energies of who shows up in the group. And what we've all experienced is similar. And it's really cool energy as we, supernova souls, don't forget, we're building this field. I know you're still feeling disconnected, but we're building this field, and this Pisces energy is actually really good to just feel those interconnectedness. Like, we are, what the supernova souls are doing right now, all the advanced souls on the planet right now are providing an alternate option to the matrix. And most souls are choosing the matrix, right? Give me the mask, give me the vaccine. I just want to feel safe. I just want to, and it's like, hey, you guys, over here, and that's why there's been such an attack on this energy, because you're such a challenge. You won't get down in your box. And it's been hard because you claw your way out of the box, then you get put back in the box, you claw your way out. This energy is different. It's time to get out for good. Jack in the box, right? And so we are holding a different version of reality. This is this co-creation where we've got to come together like on these activations and our energy and be like, this is what's real. This is what matters. We know because we've gone through the gamut. And, and just the power of holding a different paradigm for souls to make the leap if they want to. That's why you're here. And no wonder you've gone through it, because you represent the biggest challenge to the lower matrix. And we know it's falling apart. House of Cards is dangling, So, wow, who knows what lies ahead, but definitely, finally, the astrology speaks to this rebirth and phoenix and initiation energy as we move through these next couple of weeks. Very powerful astrology at the end, the last week of March. March is going out like a lion. So we'll see what that means. I'm so glad we're here together. Thank you for being with me. Thank you so much for being a part of the Soul Tribe. That's available on my website. It's $10 a month, and that gets you exclusive content, Wednesday updates, and live Q&As and event discounts. So consider that. And I'd love to have you with me. I super appreciate your support and just being together as we manifest and live and breathe and this new, better world together. Claim it. Claim the dream. So I look forward to seeing you soon, maybe today on the activation. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.